Overthinking and anxious thoughts can genuinely ruin your life. Before I get into that, I just want to say a thank you. I got 10 subscribers. My most recent video got 67 views. I was so gassed about that, so thank you. And I saw a lot of nice comments, so I do appreciate that. And I'm really enjoying this, so I hope you're gaining as much as I feel fulfilled from making the videos. So overthinking. This has been my biggest problem for the longest time. I'd make a mental map of everything. This is gonna happen this way. This is gonna happen that way. This person's gonna think this about me. I'm gonna fail in this. I'm gonna fail on that. And that overthinking would manifest the fears that I was overthinking. It comes from a place of feeling like you need to be in control, or at least for me, and determine the outcome of every situation. But what we don't realize is the overthinking means and has meant that I've reacted to a certain situation in a way that led them to do exactly what I thought they'd do. So that overthinking just breeds exactly what you're thinking. It's self-fulfilling prophecy, if you've heard of the exact term. Let me give you an example. Let's say you had an altercation with someone and you had a little bit of an argument. Ideally, the next day you just act normal and nothing would come from it. But now you're overthinking, overanalyzing, and instead of acting normal, you avoid them. And when you finally see them, you act defensive because of that overthinking. That causes them to have a bad reaction. Now you're in a victim mindset. You see, I was right all along. I've learned to trust a process. Trust life to go how life's gonna go. And I'm gonna help you do the same in this video. The first thing you have to understand before anything else is that every friend, every family, teacher, or whatever, every single person has a different perspective of you. You know the multiverse is, infinite realities. This is like a smaller version of that, or that's how I like to think about it. Different versions of you exist in different people's minds. There's someone out there that thinks you're the rudest person. There's someone that thinks you're the kindest person. The same way you and your sibling might have a different perception of your parents. Maybe they don't even really know who they are. They gave you a different perception of them growing up. You might have gotten a different experience with them. I say all of this to say, you don't really know anybody and nobody really knows you. You have a perception of them in your head and they have a perception of you in theirs. But that perception is not them and that's certainly not you. That can help you to stop overthinking because you might be in a situation where you think, I've given it my all, I was very kind, but they still think this about me. That is just a perception of them. That doesn't define who you are. Another thing I would do to try and limit the amount of overthinking you do is to voice your concerns. This comes from a place of having a lot of friends that don't, and that kind of leads to them overthinking. This doesn't mean complain about everything, but if there's something that someone does that offends you or annoys you, voice it. It means it won't lead to you holding in so much anger, and that anger will lead to overthinking, and then it's just constantly on your mind. Because with overthinking, you're creating scenes out of fear and self-sabotage on something that hasn't happened, but you think it will. If this overthinking comes about from speaking to a significant other, and let's say they text you, hey, but this time it's 1Y and not 3, that could stem from attachment issues. And the fact that you might have had inconsistent love from your parents growing up, or maybe there was someone in your life when you were young, maybe that was a parent, a friend that just left. And so that's a trigger. If it's a job interview and you overthink for that, why is that? Is it because you feel like they don't see you and they're not validating who you are or who you'd like them to think you are? Is it because of a lack of self-worth, because you feel like you need X job to make you feel better? Once you find the trigger, you can start to implement a mindset of facts over feelings. The job didn't go through. It may not be because of something you lack, but they just might have found someone better. That doesn't mean you can't get a better job or a better opportunity, or you're not good enough for a job. Those are the facts. Your girl ain't replied to you? Maybe she's just busy. She's not with a 6'5" athlete. Just breathe. They're not gonna leave you. That's not a fact. You don't know that. You can sit for a month straight in your room overthinking. The only reality that will actually happen is the one you're living in. Try and visualize your thoughts as TV channels. That's something that I learned to do. Every time you're overthinking, you're back on that bad channel. So all you got to do is change it back to 604, if you get the reference. And that channel you change it to can be you reminding yourself how grateful you are. I'm grateful for having this, for having this. And then that will become like an exercise. Okay, every time you start overthinking, it's like a mental thing now. You just change back to being grateful. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. If you want to shift to the present because you're constantly thinking about the past, one thing you can do is you can just sit there and list 5 things that you can see and feel. Because that will bring you back to the present. You're going to have to, because you're going to have to look around you. Then break down why you're overthinking. If it's something like, why am I so behind in life? Ask yourself, what can I genuinely do today to help myself? What can I do about that? You need to separate the things you can control from the things you can't. Because if it's a thing of like, I don't know, 3 years ago, I should have taken this opportunity, I should have said this to this person at this time, as much as it hurts and as much as you wish you could go back, the sad truth, and it's something that everyone needs to come to terms with, is you just can't change it. Like, there's nothing more to say to that. It's a hard bullet to bite, but it's just a fact. The only thing you can change is what you're living in right now. And if you keep thinking about the past and reminiscing and feeling sorry for yourself and what you could have done, this present will become your past, and it's just a recurring cycle. This part is so real, and I wanted to leave this to the end because I think it's one of the most important things. God has a plan for you. Whatever happens or doesn't happen is pushing you towards the plan that God has for you. And so with that, some people simply won't like you, and some teachers won't like you, and your boss might not like you, and your friends might stop liking you. And you can overthink and you can worry as much as you'd like, but the truth is there might not be a reason. And regardless, that doesn't have to define you or tie you down, because their perception is not your reality. And let life run through you. Stop trying to imagine a stream of water running, a very tight stream, and you're trying to put your hand to force it back. You can't. That's life. Let it flow. Like, that shit's gonna happen either way. So why try and hold it back? Let it go. Go with the flow. That was a bar. Yeah, just let shit happen, innit? But all in all, overthinking isn't something you can get over quickly. It's something that takes time, and sometimes a lot longer than you'd like it to take. But you can start with trying to find those triggers. Why am I feeling like this? And then you can work from there. And the one thing that I want to leave you guys with is, don't feel afraid or like you shouldn't ask for help if you need it. If you have people that you trust. My last video was about not sharing too much with people in general, but most significantly the people that you don't fully trust or the people that aren't great. If you have family or friends that have been with you and they've shown you the green flags, don't feel like it's a bad thing to share how you feel with them, the fact that you're overthinking, because they might be able to help you. And sharing that burden sometimes, if you're going to do something about it, it's helpful. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you very much for all the support, and thank you.